Hey everyone! I'm excited to share that my first book, Broken to Better, 13 Ways Not to Fail at Life and Leadership, will launch on Amazon and other online retailers shortly after. The process of writing this book has been enlightening and energizing. I've enjoyed reflecting on my time as CEO of Branded Group and sharing my entrepreneurial journey, as well as the lessons I've learned in my goal to be better. The book is organized around 13 Be Better principles. Here is a peek into a few of them. 1. Be connected. Business is always about relationships. 2. Be fearless. Never be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. 3. Be purposeful. Create value for your clients and your employees with your products and services. 4. Be service-oriented. Solve your clients' problems better than anyone else. 5. Be generous. Give back in whatever way you can to improve your community and the world. I'm confident that the book will help you to be better for your team, your clients, and your community. After you've read it, please consider leaving a review on Amazon and also consider sharing it or gifting it to your family and friends. If you'd like to talk with me about the book, you can reach me at mkurland@branded-group.com. Thank you. Hello, I'm Michael Kurland, CEO and co-founder of Branded Group, an award-winning facility maintenance and construction management company that services multi-site commercial properties such as retail, restaurants, healthcare facilities, and educational institutions. Welcome to the Be Better podcast. Each week, I interview thought leaders from a variety of industries who will share their stories and the lessons they learn as they strive to be better for their clients, partners, employees, and their community. Are you ready to be better? Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Be Better podcast. I am your host, Michael Kurland. Joining me today is the most important guest that this show has ever had in the history of this show. It is my love of my life, my bride and future mother of my child, Alexandra Sanchez Kurland. I refer to you as Alejandra, so I'm going to call you Alejandra for the rest of the show. Alejandra, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well. It's definitely a little different being on the show versus listening and just tuning in and, smiling and supporting you from behind the scenes.
Yeah. So we thought it would be something cool to have you on the show and kind of talk about our story, because we always talk about everyone else's Be Better story, and I think we have a Be Better story. So I wanted to get started and kind of let the audience know who you are and what you do, because that's where we go in this part of the segment of the show. So tell the audience a bit about who you are, what you do, and then I'll follow up with some questions from there.
Okay, sounds good. Well, hello, audience. So I'm Alexandra. I run Alexandra On The Go. We're a local notary management company serving predominantly Orange County, now going into San Diego and LA. And that's pretty much me. Yeah.
And I think we'll get into what you do a little bit more as we tell this story, but I think I want to tell this interwoven story of us. Right? We talked about this last night, audience. I'm not going to take all the credit. I was sitting at the kitchen table with my wife, and we were laying out how we should plot this Be Better story. So she gets a lot of the credit because I told her she should have been a producer on the show. She came up with such a good idea. So Alejandra, tell the audience, let's reverse. We've been married for a little over a year. We've been together for almost 5 years. And we've known each other for about 5.5 years, correct? Am I right about that? 6 years? Yeah. Okay. So tell the audience of where we were where you were before you came, because for those of you that don't know in the audience, Alex used to work with me at Branded Group. And I'd like to tell the audience of where you were right before you came to Branded Group, and then your initial meeting, our initial meeting at Branded Group, and then we can talk about how we came to be. So let's start with where you were right before you came to Branded Group.
Geez, I'm it was a totally different world, a totally different person. And so essentially, long story short, I kind of fell into facilities really early on, right out of school. And that kind of led me into a management position with an HVAC distribution company. And I was managing warehouses. I was forklift certified. I was dealing with nothing but HVAC contractors on the day to day. And that came with its own set of interesting challenges. I was literally the only female in the entire region. So, I mean, a lot of things going on. And I definitely knew that was not going to be my end all. I was really young and happily established, but just looking for more. And my old first, well, not, she wasn't old, but my first manager was now working for you. And that's kind of what led me to Branded Group and at least explore.
Who was that?
A first.
Who was that?
You.
Who was the person?
Karen Blanchard, now Karen Brittle. So the woman we owe it all to for introducing us and bringing me into your life, and vice versa.
Yeah, yeah. So you're working at a HVAC company, and then you reached out to Karen, or she reached out to you. She reached out to you, I believe. Correct?
It was equal. I mean, she knew I was looking. I wasn't necessarily thrilled and happy with where I was. I wanted something new. I just wasn't sure where I was going to really end up going next. So, yeah,
yes.
She got me an interview with you, and that kind of leads into how we first met, my first interview.
Yeah. So I'll just give a little backstory. I had been out here for, 2.5, 3 years at the time. I'd say it was probably 3 years. And Karen was our operations manager at the time, and she had industry experience at her mother's company prior that had been sold. And we were growing. I mean, at the time, I thought rapidly, but now that seems like slow growth compared to where we're at now. But we were growing pretty quickly for the amount of people we had. We were trying to keep it all together, and we had just gotten John to come out and be a part of the team. And so operations was getting a makeover, which it needed. And I remember telling Karen, I need people with experience. It's so hard to hire direct, young newbies and then train them and then get them on the floor and get them to understand. I need some people with experience that can, hit the ground running. And I'll never forget. She was like, "Oh, I got someone you'll like." And I was like, "What does that mean?" And she said, "I have this girl, Alexandra Sanchez." And I said, "Well, let me see." And she showed me your picture. So I don't know if I ever told you that story. And I was like, "Oh,
no."
Oh yeah. I was like, yeah, definitely get her in for an interview, please.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So, and I had been, 2.5 years in, like we were talking about, I had fresh off a divorce, and, I moved across country and was, living the single Southern California life. But I was definitely flying all over the country at that point in time, and doing closing deals, doing sales, what I did best. So it was a different point in life for me as well. So intersection of the story now. You accepted an interview, and you came into our offices at you came in when we were at the upstairs office at Orangewood, 2100 Orangewood, right? So
yeah, exactly.
So how did that go?
Yeah, I walked in. I mean, it was a great, interesting, and very different first interview. That's for sure. I mean, I just mentioned, I was working with a bunch of contractors. So, even my day-to-day uniform was, I'll never forget, all black pants, a belt, a shirt tucked in. I was wearing steel toe boots. So I was just really excited to be dressed up again, be in an office. For selling AC, they didn't have AC in the warehouse. So that was the biggest irony of it all. So a lot of little things that I was really a lot of little things I was excited to see differently. And I still remember walking into your office and meeting you. And I definitely thought you were really attractive, but that's definitely not what I didn't know what you look like. I didn't know what to expect, and I just wanted to be professional and kind of hear what the opportunity was at the time. So you were really funny. You're still the same person, definitely some interesting humor. And I think you have a good ability of allowing people to feel comfortable right away and drawing that out of them. So I'm trying to be professional, politely, share how I'm maybe not so thrilled where I was, but just, I'm just looking for a new opportunity. And you call me out and say you're tired of working with these type of contractors every day, and a curse word may have been slipped out. And I think that's where
Come
you
on.
fell in love with me.
This show is rated R, so you can say whatever you want.
Is it? Oh man. Yeah.
Within reason.
I think the word grease monkey was used, and
yes,
definitely dropped the F-bomb, and here we are.
Yeah. So, well, from my point of view, I mean, I think you tried to keep it professional until, you.
I definitely did.
You tried to keep it professional until you said, well, F. You said the F word, and I looked up at you from my desk, and I was like, did. I like you. I like your style. Yeah. I like your style, Alexandra. So but I'll remember that interview as well. Like, you walked in, and I was very attracted to you as well. You were gorgeous, still are, and I don't know if that's good for talking about workplace environment, but this all worked out, so nothing to worry about. So then we and you were also overly qualified for the position. Let me just add that. And you took the position. Right? You took the position.
I sure was.
And then you called me back 4 days before you were supposed to start and told me...
no, I don't know if it was 4 days. I'll remember. It was my brother's birthday. So it was September 9th of 2016. I was literally at Knott's Berry Farm with my family. And I guess to your point, I was overqualified for that position. I was in a different mentality where... on paper, I didn't want to take a new position, which was a position I had already completed earlier on in my career. So to me, I almost thought it was a step back. And I just, I didn't think at the end of the day, as nice as of the office as it was, as good looking as you were, of course. And I just didn't think that maybe that was the right move for my career at the time. So I called you from Knott's Berry Farm and told you, thank you so much. And thank you also to Karen, for the opportunity, but I'm not going to take it. And I definitely remember you calling me back specifically, what do I need to do to get you in here on the 19th, which would have been of September. And I mentioned my title, I mentioned my number, and you said done, and I was really taken aback. And then you had a smart ass comment for me after, like, well, do you need more time to think about that, or are we good to go now? And I was like, wow. So it was. Yep. That's how I ended up there.
Yeah, absolutely. So you started on 9/19, and and you worked hard until I think I opened up the sales position January of the following year. And I went
into sales in February. Yep.
Yeah. So I opened it up. So you started in September. So you were there about 3 months, and then 4 months. Do math. And then I opened up the sales, sales role because I was the only one doing it, and we were still growing, and I needed help. And so I opened it up to the entire company, and I, with the hopes that you were going to apply. And luckily for me, you did. I was right because you were the one that I thought could handle the position and do the job. And you came in and you interviewed and you nailed it, and you became the salesperson. And it was great because it was a great mentorship, and there was attraction there. But at the time, you were dating someone else, and I wasn't. I was preoccupied in doing whatever I was doing, and we started this whole relationship mentorship, and I thought that was such a great way to get to know you because we were traveling a lot and we were on the road, and we were, I was teaching you, what I knew about facility management. And I always told you from that point, you remind me a lot of me when I was young and on the road, because you learned how to relationship sell real quick. It just came naturally to you. And I told you were going to be better than me. Yeah. So I remember that a lot. So I don't know if there's anything that you want to add from your perspective of how that worked.
No, I mean, that sounds right to me. The main reason why I didn't want to take the first job with you originally was because I wanted to get into sales. I was running more of an operations position at the HVAC company, and I started to really resonate with the sales people there. And so I knew that that's the direction I really wanted to end up in. And when the position opened up, it was just kind of like, obviously I'm going to apply for this. This is exactly what I want to be doing. And, I do want to say, like, yes, the attractions were there, but it was silent and we were both really professional. And I really learned a lot from you as a mentor. And you showed me how you were selling, and I showed you how I was going to start selling. And at the time, using LinkedIn wasn't what you were doing. And that's really where I started to kind of find my niche and start thriving and just making new connections with people. So it was all good.
Yeah.
And I think traveling together too. Oh, sorry.
No, keep going.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, I think, traveling together was really beneficial, learning how to sell firsthand by watching, specifically how you ran meetings, how you spoke to people, how direct you were, and asking, at the time what I thought would have been hard questions. I think those were some really big key takeaways for me early on in my sales career.
Yeah, it was great. And you taught an old dog new tricks. I thought I was definitely, you got to make 100 phone calls a week, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you were like, I'm not making any phone calls, and I'm making more sales than you. And that's when I said, okay, I can learn a new trick. So I stopped and I looked and I listened.
There we go.
Yeah. And then we had a budding relationship. And to your point, it was very professional for a very long time. There was a silent attraction that neither one of us really acted on for a long time. And then, eventually being on the road. Yeah, over a year. And then being on the road together, just our admiration for each other grew, and it was very beautiful. And, we had a chance to, start to get to know each other on a level that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to do. And from that point, things happened, and then, we had started dating, and that was also beautiful. And I was very happy. I was very happy to have, you as my lady. And but there was a lot of challenges involved with that. So, I'll let you talk about those and your thoughts on that.
Yeah, there was definitely some challenges. So there was a silent attraction, and then I will just add in, I think you also fell in love with me because I started closing lots of deals and helping grow that company and making you some money, making me some money. So, that's always all good things. And once we started dating, we kept that private to ourselves. It's a really small niche industry, and I frankly just didn't want to deal with the whole double standards. I'm like, I feel like you're going to get the high fives and I'm going to get the double takes. And, I still want to be viewed as an up and coming young professional in this industry, because as much as you helped me from a mentorship standpoint, I was closing my own deals, and I didn't want that to be questioned. So
100%. Yeah, 100%. And we were also met with some roadblocks from my business partners, and it wasn't, it wasn't handled properly, which led to your exit from Branded Group, which also wasn't handled properly. And I wish, I could go back in time and fix that, which created some challenges for us. But we through the last couple of years, we've worked really, really hard on fixing those those challenges and fixing those hurdles and those bruises. And, now fast forward to it's about 3 years later now, we've overcome all of those. And, we've been able to get to a place where, a little over a year ago, we were able to tie the knot, right? And get engaged and tie the knot and all those things. So tell me what happened after you left and where you've been, and we can talk a little bit about that and a little bit more about us.
Sure. So essentially, once I knew that your business partners weren't going to come around and being supportive of our relationship, I had to immediately start thinking about my exit. And luckily, through sales, a big reason why I think I thrived was because of the networking. I do really well in person. I always knew if I could get in front of someone, I was 98% sure I was going to close that deal. And I just kind of learned the power of networking. And so I wanted to take that into my new career venture, which at the time I thought was going to be real estate. And so no one in their right mind should ever work with a brand new real estate agent. And I wanted to make some money while networking. And so for me, that meant becoming a notary public and really just building my, at the time, real estate network organically. And this was 2019. I became a notary public. That's when I left Branded Group. And then 2020, obviously the world changed and COVID hit. And interest rates hit an ultimate low. Everyone was refinancing. A lot of purchases were being made. And every time anything with these homes was being done, you needed a certified loan signing agent, notary public, to close those deals. So a national notary shortage happened, and my business really started to boom. And I'm thankful for it all. I'm really happy that I was able to, I guess this is my be better moment, leaving my sales career almost at a high, starting something totally new that I didn't really plan to be my necessarily next career venture. And then the world changing in a negative way, but positively impacting my business. And I decided to become a notary public full term. And I really started to build and frame my business almost off of a Branded Group management business model, but on a much smaller local scale. So started subcontracting notaries and really try to maximize my network at that time. And that's kind of where I'm at now, almost going into 3 years later, with my notary company and success. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, I think I would like to go a little deeper on that. Like you talk about, you built it on the model, but you built it because you were the notary yourself, and you saw
right.
you could only make 3 appointments in a day, which was very limiting to the amount of income you could earn doing this notary. And you saw this as a problem, but you knew that there's more notaries out there, even though there was a shortage. You knew enough notaries to get jobs done. So if you did a management system, you could take as many signings in a day as you had notaries. And so I thought that was genius. You infiltrated a hole in the marketplace, and I was just in awe watching you. So I still to this day, I'm like, I don't know, I want to say I'm proud, but I don't want to sound like a jerk. So I think it's just one of the greatest things that I've ever watched you do and accomplish. So I hope you know that.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think it sounds weird. I'm definitely proud of myself with it. And, I'm really happy that it's still growing. And, even being 7.5 months pregnant, I'm still in this growth mentality. I don't think I'm really ever going to slow down, physically, maybe for, 1 or 2 months while this baby's born. But I'm established enough now where I can still grow my business from my home office, from my phone, and with a baby in hand. And I'm really proud that that's where I'm at in my life, because that's what I really wanted to build at the very beginning of this notary business as it was forming.
Yeah. And it's thriving right now. And I think you did a thing that I like on the Be Better podcast, which is you segued me into the next thing I want to talk about, which is where are we now? So
Yeah.
you've started your company. I'm still at Branded Group. We got married in June of 2021. So we just recently celebrated our 1 year. And you mentioned that you're 7.5 months pregnant. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, lots of big life changes. So obviously our work romance, ended up all in good things. And yeah, celebrated our 1 year, which has been so crazy amazing. I can't believe it's already been a year. Then we started trying for a baby right after January of 2022, and luckily we got pregnant right away. So here we are, baby Kurland coming through no later than hopefully November 4th, because I love it, but I want it out of me.
Well, yes, and I can say the same thing. We hit 2022 with the idea of working on, and yes, I swear to God, audience, I believe on the first try we got pregnant, and it's been a blessing, and I too want it out of you because I just want my poor wife to be able to sleep through the night at this point in time. But overall, it's been a very I would say, I don't want to say easy because I'm not the one carrying the baby, but I think as standards go for pregnancies, I think it's been a pretty mild one. I think you would agree to that, right? Like no morning sickness and no major issues, right? Knock on wood. So.
Oh yeah. All these moms definitely let me know how lucky I am that I had no morning sickness. I'm not swollen. They want to let me know all the things that they experience that I don't appear to be experiencing. So for better or for worse, I will take that and say, yes, this has been a very lucky pregnancy on my behalf.
Yeah.
Not having to deal with.
So we're due 11/4. Audience, I'm just going to say it right now. We have no idea what we're having. So you guys, if you want to send in all your guesses and the reasons why, we've gotten things like you look pointy, so it's a girl, and you're carrying low, so it's a boy. I don't know what all these. The way I look at it is you got a 50-50 shot of being right or wrong, and I'm sure you've been right sometimes and you've been wrong sometimes. So if you want to put your guesses in, you know how to get a hold of us. But so baby's coming 11/4, baby K. What are we thinking for the future and beyond now?
Well, I'm excited that baby's going to have even this podcast recording to look back on it, visually, to see what we look like at this time. This is all a timestamp in our lives and in their future life. So I'm just excited to get to know this little person, see who they're going to be, see who they're going to grow into, boy or girl. I know they're going to be a sports fanatic because they're your child. And I'm just excited to see what parts of me and what parts of you will transfer over, not just physically, but personality wise, which is as exciting as it is scary, because you were, from what your mother likes to share, a very mischievous child. And I definitely know that I was more or less the same. So maybe we'll have a shy child and that'll be the biggest joke of it all, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think that we've earned the right to have a shy child. I think that we are going to have a child that runs down hotel hallways, banging on doors and screaming at 3 a.m.
Man.
So,
like Ding Dong Dish. It's still fun. It's still fun, audience, for those who haven't played that in a while.
Yeah, totally. So, Alexandra, I just wanted to say thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. If the audience wants to get a hold of you, how can they do so?
Well, you can definitely find me on LinkedIn. Just type in my name. You can also type in Alexandra On The Go, and my notary page will pop up. I manage, obviously, both of those. So you can send me a message, and we'll kind of go from there. But I'm an open book for anyone that has questions or comments about anything, and I will thank you now in advance.
Yeah. And audience, I wanted to let you guys know that this is going to be our final recording of the Be Better podcast. It's been an honor to speak to you guys over the last 2+ years. I've certainly grown as a podcaster and a human, as you can see. And, you know, I've enjoyed doing this. We've written a book now. I've written a book. I've written a book. And, you know, I've started a family, and all these things have happened during the time that this podcast has been aired. And it's been really fun. But like most things, all good things have to come to an end. And I think it's time to move on to newer, different things like fatherhood and whatever that brings. And we got some ideas coming up down the pike, but you know, it's been a pleasure. So I won't say till next time, because there won't be a next time, but till the next project. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that today's episode inspired you to become a purpose-driven leader in your career or your community. There is no doubt that when we lead with purpose, we can change lives. If you enjoyed today's show, I'd be grateful if you would take a moment to rate us on your preferred listening platform. To learn more about Branded Group's Be Better experience and how we provide industry-leading, on-demand facility maintenance, construction management, and special project implementation, visit us at www.branded-group.com. Be sure to follow us on social media, and you can also reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. Until next time, be better.